Welcome to Black Girl in CLE, the podcast, where each episode I talk about local events, the topic of access in Cleveland, and I get to talk to some cool people who are doing some really cool things in the greater Cleveland area. I am your host, Shana Black, the curator and creator of Black Girl in the CLE, and today my guest is local Karamu actor and longtime friend of Black Girl, Devon Settles Jr. Today's topic is getting around on the RTA, or as I like to call it, being carless in Cleveland. We'll hear from Devon and what he has to say about the RTA right after this brief message. All right, so today we are here with Devon Settles, and Devon is a personal favorite of mine. We're going to talk about being carless in Cleveland, and that's what this whole episode is about, being on the bus, or back in the day we used to call it the Rita, right? Mm-hmm. Back before we knew what Rita was as in taxes, but RTA was the Rita growing up. So I've known Devon for, I'm going to say it forever. Went to high school.
Just say forever.
Just forever. No years on that. We went to high school together, and he's one of those people that every time I see him, I smile. You don't know that.
Oh, my God.
I'm so happy to see you. And as you ride the trains and buses, and I ride the trains and buses, it's always, for me, a great point. Like, oh, look, Devon's here. We gonna get on this bus together. I don't care if we go on multiple stops. Like, even when I saw you at Shaker Square, that was like, oh, right. Like, I don't know. It's like giving me my RTA card. Like, I'm official because I'm on the train with you. So we're just hacking it up, and we are just talking about RTA, the grind, Cleveland, and how kind of we got here. So, like, for me, I ended up on RTA for the love of the business. So, trying to cut costs, live as small as possible, take care of the family, but not deal with car note and all those kind of things. I ended up on RTA. And that's a whole other story that I've written on a blog that you can talk about. You can check it out on our website. How long have you been carless in Cleveland?
Forever.
Okay.
Forever.
Forever, ever?
Forever, ever. Yes. Well, for me, how I ended up on the bus, usually it stemmed from driving and then my car blowing up or some issues with my car. So you would end up on the bus. Then my car would be okay again. Then something would happen with my car again. That I'd be back. So it's like been this back and forth thing with my car. Just and it was mostly me like not taking care of my car.
Understand?
You know, not keeping it up.
Right.
And then eventually got to the point where I ended up moving to New York.
Okay.
And that's what people do. They ride the subway. That's what they do. That's the normal. So for me, when I came back to Cleveland, it just kind of it was organic for me. So it got to a point where I no longer wanted to drive ever again. Yeah.
Right. So you no longer want to drive?
No, unless I'm like in LA or in a city where like there's no public transportation. I just love riding the train and the bus.
Okay.
I love it. That sounds crazy, but I just love it.
So let me tell you this story. When you said like there's no public transportation, a few months ago I was in Detroit. And I was in the outskirts of Detroit, kind of like the suburbs that we would think of, like the Lakewoods or Shaker Heights is here. Okay. I was in like Southfield, so not too far from Detroit, but far enough. And I didn't want to pay Detroit parking because Detroit parking is like we think Cleveland parking is bad. Detroit parking is bad. Wow. But you're talking about like $30 a day almost where I was going. So not being too far, I go down to the desk of the hotel I was staying at, and I'm like, hey, you guys got like a bus out here? Or was like Uber, Lyft the only way to get in? Okay. And the guy, he like schooled me, and it was so deep, like to be 4 a.m, 5 a.m. But he was like, no, ma'am. He says, we don't. He says, if you want to not have to drive into the city, you're going to have to get an Uber. And I'm like, well, that's going to be like $20 too. He said, you forget where you are. He said, this is Detroit. We are built. We're the autos, the hub of the auto, the big three. We want you to buy a car.
That makes sense.
If you live in Detroit, to sustain the economy, you should buy a car. It's a driving city. Wow. He said, so with that, we don't have public transportation. They have it around like the downtown, so like kind of like the little trolleys that we have down here, the circulars. Yeah. But if you want to get outside of that center of Detroit,
you have to drive.
You have to drive. He said, because we want you to buy autos, we want you to buy cars, and most of these people are working for Ford or Chevy or, GM or whatever. So they're going to get the discounts because your family's probably attached to it. So everybody just drives.
Yeah.
And I'm like, first I was mad though. I was like, I see what you do in Detroit, but I wanted to just hop on like a little transit train and shoot right into the city. So that was kind of deep for me. But thinking about that and what you were saying, I know Cleveland's transit gets a lot of flack. What do you think?
I think that people are just impatient by nature. I think that when you live in a city like New York where the subway breaks down all the time, I think that we really have it good. Okay. I think that for me, the buses are consistent. The buses that I ride are consistent. The train for me is always consistent. And I also have listen to podcasts, I listen to music. So I always have something to kind of bide my time. And so it's kind of one of those things where when you have something like that, it really makes it a lot easier for the wait.
Right. I think that was the one thing I do like about the buses or trains is that is a perfect time for me to catch up on reading or listening to a book, or I do my podcast. Some days, if you do like your morning meditations, it'd be like sit for 15 minutes. Well, I'm getting up and getting dressed, like sitting for 15 minutes. I'm trying to be on the shower, get my hair done. But when I'm on the train, like I'm sitting for 15 minutes. It's real easy to zone out, and everybody has on their headphones. So I agree with that. It's a great place to get your mind right.
It is,
where you're heading.
And I just noticed, just with traffic in the morning. There's this angst that people have. People just in the morning, just getting to work. Just that angst. It's this angst that people have. And I just noticed that when you're on the train or the bus, you don't really have that angst. You're much more relaxed. You don't have to worry about all of that, and just that to me is a blessing. And like the whole thing you talked about, with parking, I don't understand the whole concept of paying for parking.
Especially for my job.
That's just crazy to me.
You hired me, you paying me, and then basically my money has to go to come into this job. And true for me, most of my jobs that I've had when I did drive were in the suburbs. So I'm driving to Solon, you park in the company parking lot, and you walk in. But to have to pay the monthly rate on parking,
crazy.
It is crazy to me.
Or the events that happen, like the games or the concerts, and where they're paying $50 for parking. I don't understand that. And just there's a stress factor I notice that people have, when it comes to that.
Yeah, I think for me when I initially stopped driving, there was a freeing thought that I wasn't stuck in that. And so I remember one day I was riding to a job, West 130th in Lorraine. And it's my first time taking the bus to the west side ever in life. Grew up in Cleveland, but, I was a Blue Line downtowner and only went a few places. And so I caught the bus, and I think it was a 22. And I was riding all the way out Lorraine. And there's a part where you go over the highway, and you could see all the traffic backing up. And I kept thinking, I would have been stuck right in that traffic, probably angry, running late, but yet everybody's going to get off, especially on the west side. Most of those exits put you at Lorraine. There's no traffic on Lorraine. So even when I did start driving again, I'm like, I'm going to just take Lorraine in the morning because everybody's on the freeway. I mean, that's just how the city's designed. But I got off my bus. I was not stressed at all because I didn't go through all that. That, you cut me off. Where's your blink? All that was gone. And that's what I enjoyed, I think, about. That's when I started getting the light went off for me with taking the bus.
And the other thing I noticed, I don't know how it is now. I remember back in the day, if you rode the bus, that was a negative thing. That was a thing. And so that's just something that I've never really understood, because there are people now that cannot afford a car at all. They cannot afford a car. But they want that car. To say that I have, because I drive. I drive.
And a nice car at that.
And a nice car. And can't afford it. Can't afford a car. No. Can't, you know what I'm saying? So it's for me, I don't really understand the concept of that. Of needing to have that because it makes me look good or makes me, I don't know. It's the status.
And I think that was, for me, it was very humbling because the thought was, I was that person, I have a 2017 blah, 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 or a 2000 this, and now my next car is going to be this Lexus or Beamer or whatever. And then like I look at my neighbors, and my neighbor has this old Ford Taurus, and she loves. I mean, I always say she loves that car. I mean, she comes in and out the driveway, she's blasting her tunes, and I'm like, it's not about the car. And so being on the bus made me really start unpacking those things that I held, but also realizing that. Is it worth it? Now, I will say, though, when you think about how much the monthly pass costs, I mean, it's almost a car note if you're not single.
Yeah, yeah.
So, like, for me and my kids to take the bus, if we were going to do it a month pass each, I mean, we almost looking at $200.
Okay.
But I'm not paying gas. I'm not paying maintenance. So it is, when I realized that, it was kind of like, well, maybe I should just get a car. If I'm paying $200 for RTA, I might as well get a car. But, again, like, I don't worry about gas prices.
Yeah. So easy. And what gas? As far as gas price, I couldn't even tell you what gas is supposed to be or what's good. You know what I'm saying? What the prices are. I couldn't even tell you that. I didn't think about that.
I remember that same job on the west side. One of the bus stops was at the gas station.
Okay.
And so I'm walking over there. I'm waiting for the bus, and people are pulling in, pulling out, and it was just kind of like, oh yeah, I used to do that all the time. And then I looked at the gas thing, and I'm like the price, and I'm like, that's not even been a concern. Like, I used to drive around like, oh, over here it's $2.25, but if I go across town, I can get gas for. Like looking for that was just such no longer a thought.
And I can get anywhere that I need to go. Everywhere that I need to go in Cleveland, I can get there on the train and the bus. I'm trying to tell you, I don't have an issue getting anywhere.
Do you ever take the Lyft and Uber?
No, I've never taken a Lyft. I've never taken an Uber before.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's just something, and I think it's a cool concept. I really do, but it's not something that I don't know. I have this thing about waiting, and I know with the bus you have to wait, but like for some reason I'm just blessed where I've never had to wait for a long period of time. Like I said, I got my podcast, I got my music, but I don't know. I've never really had a need to Uber or to do a Lyft. Okay. Yeah.
I started the rule with. I can only lift one ride.
Okay.
And it was summertime, so like I can walk everywhere. But I will only lift one way. And so like this morning, because I was late and I was taking it slow, like I lifted down. It's kind of like in the board game, advanced 10 spaces or free space. So yes, I know it's going to take me almost an hour to get down here. And I didn't have the hour. So then, okay, lift. I'll just shoot me right here. I'm good. But I didn't get my coffee this morning because I've built that into my RTA journey. But you said like you've never waited. What do you think is the best route for you? Like, what's a bus that runs or train that runs, and you're like,
well, the blue line, any of the trains, they run on time. They leave when they say they are. The 14, is consistent. I ride the 22. What else do I ride?
I like the 22.
Yeah, I like the 22. Yeah, it's a nice ride. The 26, the 3, the 1.
How you feel about the 5?
I like the 5. Now, the thing about the 5 is weird.
I hate the 5.
Okay.
I wrote a piece called That Slow Ass 5.
Yeah. And the thing about the 5 is it's just weird because of where everything is. And just, they could be a little bit more consistent. That's the only...
My thing with the 5 is that it only runs like once an hour.
That's the only thing.
And so... The one concern with me in the 5 is even if I catch the 5 and I get to where I'm going, I'm never able to time it to come back because normally that's shopping.
Yes.
So you're going up, and the 5 runs up Chagrin to like Eaton and to Lander Circle and all that stuff. Yeah. So a lot of it is shopping in through Pinecrest, I think it goes now. So if I'm shopping, I'm in Giant Eagle, I'm in Big Lots, I'm wherever I'm at, Barnes and Noble, trying to catch that bus. When the tellers are slow or the line is slow, if you miss it, you stuck.
Yeah, you are. But the thing about it is, the good thing about it is, you got Juma, you got a coffee house right there to go to. You got Wendy's. Like you got options. You got places to go. You're not stuck.
But to me, if I'm doing my grocery shopping, I'm sitting there with these bags. And I'm mad.
And that's cool. And like that's
just me. That's my 5.
And that's a New York thing, actually. That's something that people do in New York. Like that's just
I know.
Yeah, and it's a pride thing. I think maybe it's like I don't want people to see me with these bags. How do I look with these bags?
I just don't want to be lugging them. I have to give me a little cart, and and that's a whole nother mindset. Am I that person that's lugging the groceries with the cart? But and you're right because I'm thinking about like even if I stopped over at that Chagrin Plaza over there, there's a bagel place.
Yeah.
but and my ADHD would kick in.
Okay.
That I'd be over at Michael's, like I'd do my groceries.
Okay.
Oh, I missed the 5. Let me go over to Michael's. I'd miss the 5 again because now I'm shopping. Like, oh, look at this. Look at this. I'd be looking at deals, and then I'd be seeing a 5, and I'd be mad again. So the 5 is...
The 5 could use a little bit of work.
And I actually met this man on the 5, and it was an older gentleman.
Okay.
And I caught, it was one of those days where the 14 and the 5 didn't connect. So I took the 14 up, got to the 5, and I met this older gentleman, and he was like livid about the 5.
Okay.
Because he had an appointment, and I guess it wasn't timed right. And so now the next bus isn't for another hour. So he would get there about 1:14. His appointment was at 1 o'clock. And he was just like angry. And he was going on this rant about there's so many businesses and so many people that need to get to these stores. You almost like, why aren't you running that 5 more often? And that's the one bus I would say, like, I hate the 5 because it's just not consistent for me.
And this other thing that I noticed too, except like I said, when you have bags, this is an exercise that I do. I see a lot of other riders do. You're not stuck at that bus stop.
Right.
There's
start
another
walking.
bus stop.
Yep.
So start walking. And start walking,
Right.
looking back and walking, and because there's a next bus stop that's like not too far from that.
Right,
next
right.
one.
And
so
it's always an eyesight.
always an eyesight. Always, and so when you do that walk, you don't feel
Like you're waiting.
stuck.
Yep.
And so that's the exercise that I do.
So I did, when I was younger, back in my high school days, I would ride the RTA to get places that necessarily I didn't want to ask my parents to take me to.
Okay.
So maybe I wasn't supposed to be downtown at this day and time, but I wanted to go downtown at this day and time.
Okay.
So I would catch the Blue Line.
Okay.
Grew up on the Blue Line. Or I would catch the bus to like that friend's house that like you don't necessarily need to know where I'm going.
Right. Not you.
Yeah, I'm not proud of it, but for the sake of this story, let's just accept that fact.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I was on the 40, and I was trying to get home, and I got to that point, like I missed the 40, and I started walking, and I was down past like South Miles,
Okay. Well, I know exactly what you're talking about.
like over by the what's that park, Cruise or whatever. So I wasn't too far from there, and I started walking like to the next stop, to the next stop, to the next stop. Now this is in the 90s, so you know the 40 runs its own way too, but it's pretty consistent.
Yeah, it is.
I was almost at Lee Harvard by the time that next bus came, and I was so like, because I had to get home, because I was like, my mom was expecting me at 5:30, and that bus hadn't came yet.
Yes.
But it just, so I know that trick to start walking, and it usually works, and the bus drivers are nice enough, and that's what I want to talk about next: bus drivers.
Yes, yes. Well, I love the RTA bus drivers because they get cussed out every day. They deal with a lot of shit. And so what I love to really, really do is to ask them how they're doing. I never give them issues or any problems. I got a really good story for you.
Tell me.
So I got on the 5.
Okay.
It was New Year's Eve.
See, I'm cringing. Every time you say the 5, I'm like, the 5.
Yeah. And it was this, and what I noticed what happens when the bus drivers get to the end of their route, sometimes they have like a break in between. And so a lot of people that have been waiting are anxious to get on the bus. So a lot of times the bus drivers, you can sense that they just get irritated by that because they have like maybe say a 10-minute or 15-minute break.
Right.
They want to use the bathroom.
They gotta close the bus up.
They close the bus up. They want to grab a snack or on the wall, like Walgreens and
check a phone, right?
Something. So I'm always very conscious about them and their well-being and saying, okay, I don't want to just kind of jump on this bus. Are they going to take a break or not? So I saw this. He was a Jamaican dude.
Okay.
I know he was Jamaican, but he had some dreads. and he was sitting, and I said, can I get on? Are you about to have a break or not? Because I know how y'all get. And he was like, are you a Christian? Are you a Christian? I said, well, no, I'm not a Christian. He said, why do you ask that? Because you're judging me. You're judging me right now. I said, I'm not judging you. He said, yes, you are. Yes, you are. He was getting real upset. I said, wait, okay. Relax. He said, I'm not just, it's just that you think that you know me. I said, well, no, what it is, and I explained, just like I explained to you, I know that you all need a break. It's the end of your route. I wasn't sure if you want to go to the bathroom, if there was a time.
Try to be considerate.
I don't want to just kind of rush the bus. And so we got into a conversation about religion.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I was all the way on the back of the bus, and I told him, I'm not a Christian, and I have a problem with that word, and people that, profess and say this is what I am. I just feel like if that's what you are, then let me see that.
Right.
As opposed to you telling me that.
Right.
And he said action love. You believe in action love. Now I didn't know what action love was, but I got a sense as to what that was.
Okay.
And he said, I want you to look up an artist, J.R. Blessington.
Okay.
J.R. Blessington. I think that was his name. And I looked on Spotify. And he was J.R. Blessington. He was J.R. Blessington. And what was really interesting about that was here this RTA driver was. This was his, his hustle.
Name, yeah.
And he was this artist.
Nice.
And so that was kind of interesting because you told me that you wanted to do this podcast. And you actually told me that I don't know if it was that day or like maybe before that. And it was just interesting how you said you want to do this podcast and that happened. And he said, you are a very powerful man. When I got off of my stuff, he said, you are a very powerful man.
Nice.
He said, and Happy New Year to you. And the funny thing about that is, after I got off from my New Year's Eve gig, I went downtown to the casino. And guess who my bus driver was on another route?
Him?
J.R. Blessington.
Nice.
So it was like a consistent. And these
I gotta meet him. Like I'm just now I'm gonna be looking out for bus drivers. Like, are you J.R. Blessington?
And that's the other aspect of riding the bus and the train that I really love. And I took that from New York. It's just the people that you see. I just study people. I love to study people. Being an actor, I'm just fascinated by people. So I think it's one of those things where people that are on the train and the bus, not the train so much, but the people that really don't drive or can't afford to drive at all, in my mind subconsciously becomes this spiritual person. It's like we're in this thing together. We're riding this bus together and everybody's in there on their own path, going into their own direction, wherever that's going to be. And we're sharing this time together. And we're not going to see each other again, or we might see each other again. There's certain people that I know that I see, I don't know their names. But I see them.
Like we cross paths all the time. So the bus drivers, I would say, I think they're like the salt of the earth. Like they remind me of the older generation. They just go to work. They're just there to do their jobs. They, like I see them like you just come home after a long, hard day, honest living. And so I am always, good morning, how are you? Like, because you doing your thing. And I'm not ever fussy about it. And they're so courteous. I remember we were stopped yesterday. I'm on the train. And the lady said, and I'm like, why are we not rolling? And she came on. She said, just want you guys to know, here's why we're delayed. We're waiting. I apologize. And I remember from being a kid, like you didn't have that. It just was stops and nobody talked. But now people are like, make sure you have your belongings. And I think RTA does like a very good customer service training or whatever. Because those drivers are polite. They joke with you in the morning. So I'm on the bus and I have my coffee and my egg sandwich. He goes, where's mine? I'm like, I got you tomorrow. Okay. And we just have this banter. And I ran into a driver coming into Tower City. And I always ask, even though I usually know, like, which train's coming or what train is that? Because when you go into the blue and green line, when you come down, you can't see what light is on. Green is usually on the track, green is on, blue is, but sometimes they switch.
Sometimes they switch and they don't tell you.
Right.
And I like to ask.
And that's so I always ask when I come through too. And that's been a fear of mine from when I was a little kid. Because just because it comes in blue, don't mean it's staying blue. It's right. Or green or what have you. And then I always go like, what if you colorblind? You can't see blues and greens anyway. So I always just ask them like, which train is that? And they'll be like, oh, it's a green line, it's about to take off or whatever. And I'm like, okay, well, when's the blue line about to take off? And the guy was like, about 15 minutes. And so the other guy was like, that's your driver right there. And I'm like, oh, I'm like, and you can see his face like, I'm on a break. And I'm like, no rush. I was like, I got, no, take your time, right? I just was trying to find out what time the train coming. That's all. And so just the idea that, they're just regular class working folks. And even the supervisors, when they're on the buses with them, like they joke too. Because I usually try not to speak like, oh, your boss on here. Right. Hello, good morning. Here's my fare card. I'll sit down so you can do your thing. And the supervisors will be like laughing and joking and they just make the best of it. And that's like they get all the props to me. But one of the things I do want to talk about, what you mentioned a minute ago, was the community of RTA. So I will take the bus down in the morning. So when my kids started back in school this summer, the one will take the train. And she had a transfer. So I would ride with her to the first transfer and then transfer with her and then let her watch her get on the second transfer. And then she was safe or fine or whatever. And so as I would ride down, and she told me this before, she was like, it's like a little village. Like everybody seems to know each other. So if you ride that 7 a.m. green line, you ride that 7 a.m. green line. And so I didn't realize that till I started riding with her, but they'd just be like, oh, hey, Jimmy, didn't think you'd make it today. And, maybe they work at the same company or not, but they just they're a little like, we ride the train together. How was your vacation? Oh, I just got back, the grandkids. And it is so cool that, and I wrote this in one of the pieces, that there is someone that's actually, you start your day with someone looking for you. Is Devon going to make the train today? I sit next to Devon every day. He's a guy, like, we don't work in the same company, but he's on the 6:15 train with me. Is he going to make it? And then when you're not there and you come back, well, we were wondering what happened to you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how nice is that some stranger
Yes.
basically cares.
Yes.
And that's what I just liked about that. And like you said, those morning train rides, and I love the feel of the morning train ride because we are all here right now to go conquer this day.
Yes. Yeah.
And I feel like the train atmosphere or the bus atmosphere changes as the day goes on.
It does. It does. It does.
You know, and so I will get up and come on the trains and buses early just for that. Like, we're about to conquer the day. And if you get off that train in the morning, when you hit Tower City, it is like a speed walk.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And I've ridden down there just for coffee because, well, Tower City has Starbucks and Dunkin'. And if you time your app right, your food is ready when you get off the train.
Right.
But, and that's all I've come for. And I find myself walking fast like, oh, we're going to Public Square. We're going to Public Square.
Yeah.
I don't have a reason to be out. I get out to Public Square like, why am I out here?
Yeah.
But because the crowd and the mass is just like,
it's
get this day started.
Yeah, it's an energy.
Yeah. We don't have time to play. Like, we gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
And that's how I take it. Like, we about to go and be awesome today.
Totally.
Get at my desk, do my job, you know, and then head to the weekend.
Yeah.
And I love that energy. And so about 9, 10 o'clock, if you catch that train later in the day, it's not the same. I mean, we're still trying to head to where we're trying to head to, but it's not the same. People move a little slower. Some people catching the train, some people going to appointments. It's a different feel.
The kids do stress me out a little bit, but I understand what that's like to get out of school and to be that young and to be that like
the end of the day, yes.
You know, so that and that's when it's some about them that, and I love the kids, but sometimes.
So that bus driver, those bus drivers, at the end of the day, like, my hat's off to them because they are school bus drivers, and there are kids just like, you know, I'm like, you gonna turn this bus around? Like, I'm saying those things, like having flashbacks of my time in school buses, like, you about to get put off this bus, and you know, and you've got adults on the bus, and you've got this gang of kids. So I happened on this bus one day about 3 o'clock, and I'm like, I finished my work early. I'm going home early. Why stay till 5? I walk out there at 3 o'clock, and I hit this bus that was 2 stops after John Marshall High School. Oh my goodness, that thing was full of kids, and like the first week back, and it was just so loud, and they cussing it, and they being kids, and you know, like,
and they've been sitting in school. You've been sitting in school all day,
and I get that.
I get that too.
And then other kids are coming on from other charter schools as we go down Lorraine, and I'm just like, never again. But the bus driver, like, my hat's off to him. You know, the senior citizens, and he'd be like, you know, hey y'all gotta move so this lady can get on before you even open the door. Y'all right there, get up so this lady can get and sit in that seat. You know, the handicap or older people seats. And like, I'm like, kudos. And the kids were mindful. But like, that's a bus I'm like, I'll avoid. And even this Healthline, about 3 o'clock, it's full of kids, and I know that. So some days I let that go, and I'll catch the bus at 4 or the train because they are. But in the mornings, there's a moment where all the kids seem to descend on Public Square about late 7:30, 8 o'clock, and they're about business. Like, that's a proud moment to watch. And I've actually sat in Public Square with my coffee, you know, because I followed the crowd out, and watched how they navigate, and that is amazing to watch because, you know, there's so many people that are like helicopter parents, and my kid not gonna walk, I'm gonna drop my kid door to door, and these kids come in on the train, you know, and they're still morning, so they're not awake yet, but they got their headphones in, and they are just doing the thing. I mean, they're navigating the transit. So they're getting off at the Tower City, they're getting off the one bus, some kids are going over to like the 51 for the West Side buses, you got kids waiting on the one for like up St. Clair, and there's no like, you go there's no hazing. Like, they just on their way to school. And it's a time, it's real interesting to watch because all the business people are usually where they are by this point, and it's just kids. But there is no drama. Where, you know, at the end of the day, like, you put some Shaw kids with some Cleveland Heights kids or the wrong school, and we got to beef. Or I saw you on Instagram. But in the morning, it's just headphones in, and like, they're charging. And I even bought this young man breakfast once at the West Side Market because he was there, and he was like digging in his pockets, and he's like, "How much is the sandwich?" And he was, you know, a young African American boy, and he just, you could tell he was about like, I'm just trying to get to school. Do I have time for the? And I'm like, go ahead. You waiting on the bus to go to school? Like, I'm just riding around taking pictures and doing other stuff. But and I bought him breakfast because he didn't have like the dollars because they went to cash, and who cares cash these days? But I bought him breakfast because it was just so nice to see all these kids. And even when they get together, like, oh, hey, Devon, we not loud.
Yeah.
You know, you get your homework done. Some of them reading on the bus. And that's just a great moment to see, to me.
Beautiful.
It is, you know. And now the afternoon, like I said, it's a little bit of a zoo.
Yeah.
And I love it anyway. I mean, because everybody's just trying to do what ain't nobody on no dumb stuff on the RTA. Period.
Not at all.
So talk to me about the conversation, which I see a lot in Cleveland media, that the RTA needs to do better. Period. Like, how dare the RTA? The RTA is so underfunded. The RTA needs all these things to be functioning. Like, there's a lot of flack about what the RTA does. I'm okay with the RTA.
Me too. And I think that's in every city you go to. I think anybody that rides public transportation is going to have this issue about it being perfect.
Right.
So if you want perfection, I'm just going to be real. Get you a car so you can leave when you want to leave, so you can be on your own watch, your own. But you're sort of like, well, for them, like a slave to that. And I just think that even New York, I mean, that's just the one city where people are frustrated about, you know, the subway and this, and they've got issues. So they got issues.
Right.
So, I mean, come on now. And that's New York City.
Right. And I just think, I know we talked about this before, I think, number one, we're lucky to have RTA.
Me too.
So when I went away to college, we didn't have a bus system. So if you wanted to go to Walmart, it was like a 4-mile walk.
Okay.
If you're lucky, or you had to find a friend that had a car that could take you to Walmart. And so it was really just, and this was before Uber or Lyft, so you just had to get there. And growing up with RTA, like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Now it has a little bus system, and it connects to actually RTA. So, and that's what I like, is that we are in a space that we are blessed to have a public transit. And not just like one car, one bus. No. I mean, we've got a network.
Yes.
And it keeps expanding. So there's a Cleveland State line now, I found out. There is the Health line that runs like almost like another transit train. There's a Metro Health line, which I haven't ridden, but, you know, we keep expanding and growing
and
to cover
all the
those
work
places.
they're doing, like on the train, not to cut you off, on the blue line, like 30th.
Yes.
All of that.
That's nice.
That's nice. Then they're doing 116th now. They're doing that.
Yep.
So, like, Cleveland's up and coming. And I think that they're doing that because of the city and because the Republican Convention that was here, when we won the championship. I think that the gay games were here, which is all these, and then all these films that are filmed here at our location. So, like, they know that this city is growing. Right. So they actually are doing that.
Even being underfunded.
Yes. Yeah.
Period. And being underfunded. Have you ridden the Red Line?
I have, yes.
Do you think the Red Line runs better or worse than the buses? There's some times where I'm like, I would rather take the bus in than take the Red Line. Sometimes, or vice versa.
I don't know. It's weird. For the most part, the Red Line is consistent for me. Every now and then when I'm downtown, when I do take the Red Line, it does feel a little bit longer. But again, that's why I put, like I said, my headphones on and my podcast on. And that's when I just kind of go into my own world. Right. But it's pretty much it's pretty much the same. I think it's a little bit more urban. On the Red. It's
more diverse.
You know what I'm saying? Yes.
That's an interesting train, though, because when you come in, it's urban. When it leaves out, it's different.
It's different, yeah. Because the further out you go,
on both ends,
you know what I'm saying? You know, the more west you get, the more white it is.
And Hispanic, right?
Hispanic, and then like to the east side, you go to Windermere. You know, it's more black.
It's very interesting train. It's a very interesting transition to watch. If you sit in Tower City, so I like to be in the Tower City station to watch the people come in, because that is truly like metropolis. And yesterday there was this moment, to me it was a moment of zen. I don't know why I enjoyed that moment, where the blue line came in and, you know, everybody, and it was one of those, it stops there. Not, it wasn't going down the flats or whatever. It stopped, so everybody got off. So you had all these people coming off this train at rush hour. But about the same time, the red line came in. And so there's a moment where you're going up the escalator, I turn around, and you know you usually have a crowd because you're in the crowd, you want to get in front. But when you turn around, this crowd's coming in from both. And that was just the idea. It was just like, look at all these people that just came into the city from wherever. So maybe you're coming in from Lakewood, maybe you're coming in from Shaker Heights, Beechwood. But look at all these people that just came in into this one space in the city, and it was truly like the melting pot. Coming in from the red line were black, white and Hispanic. Coming in from the blue were mainly black and white, and just they all hit this one point at the same time, and it was just like, wow.
I would feel that zen too.
It was just like, look at this, and oh, excuse me, I'm sorry, and courteous, and because everybody again, I'm trying to grab my Starbucks order or my this order or whatever, and it was just like yesterday was like the perfect day, and then they get out of Tower City quickly in the morning.
Yeah.
Like there ain't no loitering, ain't nobody.
No.
You could hear the music playing.
Yeah.
and that was like, it's real cool to watch. But I think I'm more of a fan of the West Side buses and the East Side trains.
Wow. Okay.
I don't know.
I see what you mean, because that 22, like I said,
I love that 22.
Like I'm taking the 22 today. Like when I leave, I'm going to the 22.
Yeah.
So
I love the 22.
That's a nice ride.
It is. And so once I really started working the 22, I stopped because there's a little lunch spot.
Yeah.
In the West Side Market.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So I hop off the 22.
Yes.
I grab my breakfast sandwich. I hop back on the 22, and I keep on going. I like the 22.
Yes.
I like the 26. I mean, but coming in from the red line and you can see if you're on the 22, you can see where the station is running parallel. So like there's a stop at West 25th. Right. There's a station at West 25th.
There is, yes.
67th, like the Gordon Square area, you can see them, but I don't like necessarily where the red line lets you off. You kind of just, because you're not in the city.
Yes.
You get off the bus, you're there. And in the blue and green line, when you get off the bus, or the trains, you come up into kind of a city.
Yes.
It seems like the red line, when you jump off the red line, you're kind of like, you have to walk to wherever you're headed.
That's true. That is true.
And I think, and so I'll tell you my story, and this is where I heard this from. My first time on the red line, I was going toward like Gordon Square, so the 60s, whatever that stop, 65th. And when you come up, number one, it was something happened when I got on the train that the lady was getting off the second car, going to the first car to report some kids in the second car. So I'm like, fair enough, get on the first car, avoid the kids. So we're riding. It was my first time probably ever on the red line because I'm an East Sider, and I've never ridden to the airport like I drive to the airport.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, and so it's not as many stops. Like the blue and green seem to have stops like every few feet. The red line, they're a little more spaced out. But I get off, and I wasn't sure where I was going. But when I came up the steps, I was like standing at this corner, and there was like nothing out there. Like there was this train station, which there was no one. I was the only one off the train station, and then it was like this intersection that every once in a while a car came through, and I'm like, where am I? And then I started getting worried, like I'm out here all alone. Like if this car stops and like there's no one here. Yeah. And so at that point, then of course, and I could see Lorraine or Detroit in the buses, and I'm like, oh, I don't like this. And where it took me, like I'm walking through this like alley street to get to the place I was headed, and I'm like, this is awful. Like I would, and where I was going, it was almost sunset, so it was gonna be evening when I left. And I'm like, oh, I'm definitely not walking back through here and standing at this abandoned train station by myself, where like I said, the bus, you got cars, you got traffic, you got people. So that's my only complaint about the red line, being trying to be like, safe female out in public is something to consider. Like, where are you at? Yeah. Even the West Park station, it just seems like it's out, it's off in the cut. The buses pull in and you pull off. Yeah. So that's my red line.
No, it makes sense. It makes complete sense.
So I'm a bus. No. I'll take the 22, 26.
Yes.
Bus all day. And people watch.
Yes. Oh, that's the best part about it.
Yeah.
That's the best part about it.
And that's, like I said, that warrants, because you see Cleveland.
You do.
On one bus ride. That's kids, grandmas, moms, older folks, black, white, whatever. So I do like that about the RTA.
Definitely.
Yes. So, you are a lover of Cleveland. We're going to kind of segue away. Okay. So you're talking about you love Cleveland. What do you love about Cleveland?
What I love about Cleveland is, even though it's up and coming, it is a major city, but it's small enough to not be too overwhelming. So you can come to Cleveland and get you a theater experience. My favorite bar is Ontario Street Lounge, which is across the street from the casino. Okay. It's funny, I work a lot of events, a lot of catering events, and so General Electric, which is up on Noble, is one of the places that I work at, and it's called the Institute. Okay. And they have a lot of people from out of town, and it's really nice. It's this really posh building. It's like a college
Yes.
almost. And so people come from out of town, they take these classes. And so this guy was like, where can I go? We're staying downtown to get a drink. And I was like, well, I love this place called the Ontario Street Lounge. It's kind of hood. It's a dive bar. Because these were like upscale white people.
Right.
So I was like, okay, this is what I like. I'm just letting you know, that's where I go. The drinks are cheap. It's a great vibe. Didn't really think that, that he would be there. Later on that night, I had another event at the Union Club. After I left the Union Club, went to Ontario, turned around, and like 6 of the people that I served earlier that day at General Electric were sitting in this dive bar, Ontario Street Lounge, having a drink, and they were like, "Hey!" And I was like, "Do you guys like it? Is this cool?" They were like, "This is perfect."
I've never been there.
You gotta go because
I didn't even know it existed.
Oh, it's been around for years, and you can walk past. You know where Fat Fish Blue used to be?
Yes.
Or it's where Tilted Kilt is now.
Yes.
So it's right next to that. You can walk by it and almost miss it, but it's like another world within itself. It's the one place where whether you're heterosexual, gay, straight, bi, transgender,
none of that matters.
None of it matters. Everybody comes into this bar and it's like a love fest. It's like Cheers.
Aww.
It's like Cheers.
Nice.
So it's that type of energy in it.
Nice.
So, and you see all types of people, all types from all walks of life, just the people, like I said, mostly bus riders. You know what I'm saying? So
they're waiting.
Yeah, and waiting and love the bus and love the RT like we do. So they got their schedule down. They know they can get my shot and my beer.
And they get their drinks probably fast because they're bus riders.
Because they're bus riders. So it's like kind of that's one of those things. So, that's the main thing. And then Karamu, just the Karamu house, Karamu is the oldest black theater in the world.
Yes.
And so a lot of people and it saddens me, there are people black people that actually live in Cleveland and have never been to Karamu or never heard of Karamu or never been there before. So just the richness of just the history of just black artists that have come out of Cleveland and that are still in Cleveland now, that are performing and that ride the RTA and are on their hustle. Yeah. There's just so much about and just us winning a championship and just sports, and I just love the fact that the Cleveland Browns fans, how loyal they are.
Yes.
We are the most loyal fans ever, and I believe that.
I think that of all Cleveland fans.
Yes.
Like, if you are, you bleed Cleveland.
Yes.
No matter where you go.
I bleed Cleveland. Yes.
And even with the championship, it showed me that people that had moved away, I live in California, I left Cleveland 20 years ago, but as soon as that championship, I got to get back.
Yes.
I have to be part of that moment because it's hard being a Cleveland sports fan.
Because everybody's always laughing at you and talking about you.
And and even though we have successes let's take out the championship, we've still not had a championship.
No. Yeah.
We had that one.
Yeah, we had that one.
And we will hold on to that.
Yes,
and the city came alive.
Yes,
and
did.
If you didn't fall in love with the city, I don't know. I don't care if you didn't do sports or not.
Yeah.
The city was amazing.
Yeah, and I think and not to cut you off, I think the Browns. And I just am being the spiritual person that I am, I just think that faith is such a very powerful energy. And I just think that the fans from Cleveland have such a love and a passion for Cleveland that eventually I believe the Browns are going to take it eventually.
I think they all are.
And I think it's going to blow everybody's mind because we can't have that much faith for that not to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
I agree.
And it might be in 10 years, it might be in 20
I don't think it's going to be that far. I think we're getting there.
Yeah.
Just like the Cavs, we had a few missteps, and all of a sudden it happened.
Yes.
And once you feel that energy, I think that it injected an energy that it re-injected that energy of how great Cleveland is, and that we can do this. So before we're we're Cleveland fans, we hear your jokes. But once we had that, it was this is a taste of championship. We like this thing.
Yes.
We're gonna keep doing this thing.
Yes.
And the Indians, especially because the Indians were right behind us.
God,
and I always say it took the heavens to open up that year and rain out for us to not get it.
Yes.
I was it wasn't meant to be.
And I was actually working at a bar called Brickstone that's across the street from the stadium. Yep. And you talking about when the Cubs win.
Yes.
And it's funny because there were more Cubs fans that were in the bar that I was working at than there were Cleveland Indians fans. And there was this older woman, she was maybe in her 70s or 80s, and she was a Cubs fan. And she was so sweet. This white woman, she just has such a pure spirit about her. And she was like, "Oh, honey, I just hope that we win. I just been waiting for us to win. I just came all this way, and I was really." And when they won, there was something very humbling about, even though I wanted us to win, there was something humbling because I was still working. You're still working. But there was one dude I worked with, he was a waiter too. He was so pissed off that he didn't want to finish his shift. He was so mad. I've never understood that. That's the only thing about sports I don't understand. I get you're passionate. But when they won, I ran up to that woman and hugged her, and it was something.
She's probably crying.
Say what?
Was she crying?
She was crying. She was crying, yeah. And it was just like, just to see her, and just been talking to her just for that whole week that they had been there. And it was something humbling about telling these people who had a curse, quote unquote, like a curse, whatever.
Yeah, like we weren't cursed, we just can't win.
Yeah, and theirs was broken. And so there was something humbling about going up to these people and saying, great job.
Yeah.
Great job.
And I think, again, to Cleveland citizens and people, that was the mood for everyone. Like, we were hurt that we lost, but it was like, enjoy that moment, Chicago. Because we had just had it.
Because we understood.
And we knew, like, we just had that from the Cavs. And we knew how great that felt. And it was just kind of like, all right. You know, like I said, once that rain delay came, because we were coming back. And I'm like, okay, the skies have opened up so that we didn't win that game. Like, it wasn't meant to be. And it is humbling. And it is, just amazing to watch. Just Cleveland. And what you said, like, it's an up-and-coming city. But we've been an up-and-coming city. And that's the beauty of it, though. We're not the it city. It's kind of that off-the-radar, like, we got a lot to offer. Even just not even Karamu, and I love Karamu. But just the idea that Playhouse Square is the second biggest theater district in the country.
Yes.
And people like Tom Hanks and, like Bob Hope and all those.
Would just pop up.
Yes.
People just pop up. It's so funny. He was at this theater on the west side. It was a new theater. I forgot what it's called. And he just had popped up in his jeans and his feet. And by the way, he's about to play Mr. Rogers.
Yeah, I know. I saw that.
I was like, oh my God.
I can't wait.
That's going to be amazing. But like, he will pop up. Stedman popped up. Now to get back to Karamu, Stedman popped up to Karamu. Just randomly. Didn't even say he was coming. He's done that twice.
And there's a lot of folks that just, like, Cleveland's their hideaway. And I like that, and I hope that stays. Like, I don't want people to be like, we're going to all come to... No, don't all come to Cleveland. Because we have... I always say Cleveland's a big, small town. So we have the feel of a Chicago. Like, but we don't move as fast. Which is what I like.
Well, I like that.
Like, because I went to Chicago, and I'm like, the first time I ever went to Chicago, before I went to New York, I'm like, this city's moving too fast, and all this is happening, I was getting overwhelmed. And I'm like, I gotta get back to Cleveland. But... we have the transit, we have the sports teams, we have all these things that technically people would think we shouldn't have because we just Cleveland. But we have all these golden nuggets.
Oh my God.
And then it's affordable. And so, like, Clevelanders kind of keep it a secret, like, we Cleveland. And we, and then we have our hole in the wall bars that are real classy that you may not know are classy. But we're not going to tell you that.
Let's talk about the rib joints. Let's talk about Hot Sauce Williams. Let's talk about Whitmore's. We talk, it's so funny because I go to play, like, New York, I thought I could find a rib spot. They don't have any rib spots in New York. They don't have no dive rib spots like that. Right. And so there's something about even that, even just the food that we have. Nobody knows what a Polish boy is. I thought a Polish boy was something that everybody knew, what that was.
And then even as people teach them, you still won't have a Cleveland, like, I know Michael Simon does the Polish boy. He's introduced America to Polish boys. But until you have, because he knows the Whitmore's Hot Sauce Williams Polish boy, he can recreate. But, until you come into the greasiness and your burger is, your buns are just soggy and all that. Like,
and the foil. And the styrofoam.
And the steam that comes off. All of that. Like, you don't have that experience. And so I like that as much as Clevelanders are long-timers, we're lifers here, it doesn't have that, like, overwhelming, we're bogged down mentality. And I've been to a lot of places. We could all do a whole nother podcast on Cleveland. But I've been to some places because we were going to launch them in different spaces, like Black Girl in Blank. And I went to this one city, and I'm like, holy crap, I thought you were the it city, and they're like, no. And they cowered to Cleveland. So, like, I was in Columbus, and they were like, I've never been to Cleveland. And I'm like, why are we whispering? It's okay. It's 2 hours. Like, we come down here all the time. And so the lady said, I've never been to Cleveland, but I've been to Cincinnati. And I'm like, first of all, those two have nothing to do with anything. They really don't. But there's a fear because Cleveland seems like such a metropolis to some people. And so when I was out in Alliance for school, I would be like, we're going to Cleveland to see this concert. I want to take, my mentee or my little sister. Oh, Cleveland? Oh, like I was saying, I'm taking you to New York. And so it's funny that a lot of our surrounding rural towns kind of see Cleveland as this hub, like, noise and buses and transits and this and robbers and good, bad, whatever. But It is it's a micro big city.
It is, yeah. And they got a lot of up and coming places. Euclid, they're building up East Cleveland Euclid, around where the Windermere Station is. Joe Little from the Rude Boys.
Yes.
That's all written all over your face. He has a new spot.
The coffee place.
Yes.
Urban Beans.
Urban
or something.
Beans. Yes, there's that. There's a cigar place that's actually down the street from there. His name is Antoine. I think his name is. I went in there, and it's a cigar place and a wine bar.
Nice.
And actually, they do their own wine.
Yes. I know. Yep.
So they're just building up, and not to switch gears, but the Republican convention that was here, I actually worked that, and I was nervous about that because of, everything that I thought that it was going to be.
Right.
I thought it was going to be this racist energy, and when I tell you I'd never been so proud of my city because the way that they had everything locked down, all the different guards from all the different cities, how they all work together.
Yeah.
I felt protected.
Yes.
And everybody that came here from out of town were like, we cannot wait to go back to our city and tell them that you guys rolled out the red carpet. We had no clue that we were going to have the experience that we had.
Yes.
So to hear that, and to be a part of that, which just kind of blew my mind. This is Cleveland.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you made me think of this story I had forgotten. It's a bus story.
Yeah.
And so I was riding the 22, and I was going to get my. And I would sometimes, if I didn't have to work, just come down for this breakfast sandwich at the West Side Market. And I get off the train. I think I grabbed my coffee, then got on the bus to get the sandwich because you got to have the whole breakfast. And I was waiting. And it's about 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, and there was this older black lady there. And she's like, "Excuse me, is the West Side Market open?" And I'm like, "I guess." Like, and thinking a Clevelander knows these things. Yes. Like, sure, I don't know, just go, And she says, "Oh, I'm not from here." She said, "I am, I'm from San Diego. I'm here for some kind of reunion or family thing. And I got up early this morning because I wanted to see the sights. Because basically it's not built in my schedule. So I got up really early. I want to see the sights of Cleveland. And I asked the hotel, what things should I see in Cleveland? And they told me the West Side Market, Mitchell's, and basically sent her to West 25th.
Okay.
So first of all, I was offended. Like, oh, that's it?
That's right.
Do you know Cleveland? And then it was just one of those like, huh, what a coincidence you meet me. That's what I do is showcase. So I'm like, here's where you want to go. And so as we were talking, she pulls out her little pencil, like she's older, like so she had an actual wood pencil on her paper, and she's jotting down. I said, and I was telling her by the bus. I said, if you take this bus back and change, you go see the chandelier. They didn't even mention the chandelier. They told her Old Stone Church was the third place.
Okay.
So Mitchell's, West Side Market, Old Stone Church. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, the chandelier, the world's largest chandelier. World's largest, who has an outdoor chandelier? We have that. And so I was telling her all these things, and she's writing, and we just got to talking.
Yes.
And so she ended up buying me breakfast, and we had breakfast outside at that little sitting area right across the street from the West Side Market. Yes. And we were just chatting. She said, I really like Cleveland. And, I've never been here. She said, but it's a nice city. And it was a nice summer day. She said, the weather's kind of like San Diego. I'm like, well, not always, but you just happen to catch us this day. And, and she just was very impressed. And she says, and the price is good. Because, you can live in California. There's no such thing as a dollar menu in California. It's like a $5 menu. Right. and those kind of things. And so we just talk, and you don't realize how nice Cleveland is until you run into that person and they're like, oh, wow, this is only $2? Yeah, like, it's $2. I mean, we're not hurting for $2 either, but, like, don't raise your prices because we like the $2.
Yes, we do.
But just the idea that people are always impressed. And it's not that we were like, oh, my goodness, this is coming. Let's all be nice. Yeah. Like, that's just who Clevelanders are. And we're authentic. And, and so, like, the Major League Baseball All-Star Game is coming this year.
I know that.
And this is the 50th year that the river caught on fire the last time. Okay. So there's going to be a lot of celebrations in 2019. Okay. But at the end of the day, I think the one thing that the police necessarily don't have to worry about, or the people that keep us safe, is that we going to act foolish. Yes. I mean, we have foolish people. Yeah. But as a whole, like the parade, I wasn't worried about Cleveland coming down for that Cavs parade. Yeah. I was worried about all the folks flying in. That was like, don't tear up our city. Yeah. That was an amazing day too. That was an amazing day. Yeah. Were you at the parade? I actually came after the parade. Okay. And I just remember I was with Z, one of my work aunties. I adopted a lot of people. Okay. And she was a Golden State fan. Was funny because she was like, Golden State. She was saying that to me. I said, you can't do that now. Right. You can't. But we just bonded on that day, and we just bonded with all these strangers that we didn't know. And we would have like 10 minutes with that person, and we'd be drinking with them and laughing with them as if we knew them. And then we would leave them and meet somebody else. And just all these, strangers that I met that felt like family. I think that was an amazing day. Yeah. And it just got to show. It got Clevelanders a chance to show off because I believe that every Clevelander got that phone call. Hey, I want to fly in for the parade.
Yeah.
Can I stay with you?
Yeah.
How do I get here? So I had people like, can I come to town and we ride to the parade together? Because they just assumed I was going. And I don't like crowds, so I might not have gone.
Okay,
but I'm going to come into town so we can go to the parade together.
Yeah.
I'm going to the parade? Oh, okay. But even as that happened, you know, like family started calling family, where you going to be at? Like like the whole city just all kind of migrated together. And the talk was about the folks flying in. Because we knew like what we were going to do. We just wanted to love on our team.
Yes.
You know, it was like, why are you coming in from California though? Like, what you doing over there? Like, don't come with no Golden State Guard. You know, you stay over there. And just the idea of, like, I was getting calls that day because people came on the transit. Okay. And so remember, RTA was the way to get down there because you was going to pay $75 and $80 for parking.
Yeah.
And the transit was packed. And I remember the RTA, like, they couldn't handle that. And so people are mad about that. But there's no way RTA was ever built for that. And they did the best they could. But what happened was, you had to know the transit to get around. And so I had friends that were waiting at the top of the blue and green line.
I got a story after you can finish. Go ahead.
And, you know, the train would come up full because people figured out if I get down and come back up.
Yes.
But what I found out was I just drove to Shaker Square. Okay. And my friend called me. She said, there's buses. All the buses that hit Shaker Square go downtown. There's one stop by Zanzibar. Park and hop that. So I hopped the 11. I didn't know where the 11 goes. I didn't know where the 11 ended. But I knew it was going to take me downtown. And that bus was packed. But it wasn't as packed as them trains. And so we got down. But again, as much as we were smashed in those trains and smashed in those buses, no one seemed to be concerned. It was just like, we're going to see our team.
Yeah, it's funny you said that. Z, like I said, my work auntie that I was talking about earlier, she was trying to get me to go to the parade, and I actually was not going to go for some reason. I just didn't want to go. I just didn't want to be bothered. It just was like, I don't know, it was going to be a lot of people, and I just wasn't going to go.
Right.
So she finally convinced me to go. We got a couple beers, we got some ice, and we got to the top of Van Aken, and they said it was going to be a 2-hour wait. So there was a long line of people waiting.
Right.
So I was like, well, what do you want to do? You know, and I didn't mind waiting, but I was like, do you really want to do that?
2 hours, right.
So I said, oh, we could take the 14. The 14 goes downtown. So I didn't think about that, right? So the 14 pulled right up, like within 5
parallel.
But this was funny about the 14. So the 14 is supposed to stop at each stop. We got on the 14.
Well, so it was packed to go.
This 14 actually was not packed. It had just a regular amount of people on there. And do you know this 14 went from Van Aken straight downtown,
like a shuttle,
without stopping at any other stops. And people were just, and I felt for them, but it was like,
deuces.
I don't want to say that. I just felt like the heavens had opened up, and it was just an amazing thing. It's like, what are the chances that the 14 would just go straight from Van Aken all the way downtown straight to the parade with no stops? And people would just jump in and wave in, but it was just like, that was me and Z's like moment. That was our bus, that was our limousine, and that was just an amazing experience to have that us ushered in just like that.
Yeah. You know? And there's a few of those stories. Like, I have a cousin, he grew up in Cleveland. He had just gotten a job, his first job out of college at Delta. So he was in Atlanta. Okay. Well, there's a perk for working with Delta. Okay. That he hopped that plane that morning. Okay. Took the red line right into Tower City. Okay. Oh, wow. And ended up right there just in time. You know, it's a long parade, so you could miss some of it. But he ended up just there before, like, the good part happened at the as they were coming around Jacobs Field. And it was all like Delta to RTA. Because who's coming off from the airport? I mean, you know, and you had to know. And so by knowing those nuances of getting around Cleveland, back to the RTA thing, like, you knew that the 14 ran the same way. Yes. Like, I know that there are stops along Shaker Square that, you know, and there are parallel buses. Like, we talked about the Red Line 22. And so just the idea that we know our city, we sometimes don't act like we know our city. But, you know, as things go on, we take care of each other. We know our citizens. And so, like, there's some foolishness that happens, and there's room for improvement, as all cities. But this is, you know, and I was one of those people that I was going to move away. Like, I hate Cleveland. I want to move away and live in New York. I mean, at one point, I'm going to move to Atlanta. I'm going to move to Charlotte. I'm going to move to... I ain't going nowhere. Like, Cleveland is home. Yeah, and like, when you go to those cities, like I said, New York is, like I said, my second home. I'm always excited whenever I come home. Yeah. And like another actress, sister of mine, Crystal Christian, she is in New York right now. She comes home maybe
once every couple weeks.
Yeah.
That's her thing. She loves Cleveland that much where she comes home at that often.
Because you can just be.
Yeah, you can just be.
And recharge.
Yes.
And if you want world-class entertainment, we've got that.
We got that.
With museums and orchestras and
all
theater.
The free shit they got going on.
And free stuff everywhere. And so I get mad personally, and that's kind of how Black Girl in CLE started, because how dare you say there's nothing to do here in Cleveland?
Oh, so much.
There's always something.
Always.
The question is, are you going to really try it? And are you going to step out of your comfort zone and say, let's see what this thing is? Or leave your friends. Because if you don't like theater, and I do, you're not going to go with me, then we don't go. There's nothing to do.
Yeah.
But there's always something to do here. And that's one of the things I do love about the city. And like I said, you can get around anywhere. And so I use this city because my daughter wants to go off to Broadway and, be great and do great things. Okay. I'm like, if you can't handle RTA, you're not ready for a New York subway or Chicago subway.
Yeah.
So learn the buses, learn the trains, because that at least prepared you. I mean, as opposed to coming from some rural place that doesn't have transit, like that could be overwhelming.
Yes.
And so, like, what a great place to learn here.
Absolutely.
With that structure.
Absolutely.
So I enjoyed you being on the show, and like I want you to come back and we can just keep talking Cleveland and fun stuff and news and I thank you so much for just saying yes when I asked.
Thank you. Oh no, it was an honor. I said, you want me on your podcast?
Because like I said, when I see you on the bus, I'm like, you ride the bus and I ride the bus.
Yes.
And we always chat. I said, last time I think I saw you were eating chicken.
Yes, always.
It's coming from Dave's.
Yeah, see, this is what I'll do. I'll jump off the train, okay, and I'll go into Dave's and I'll get me a couple wings.
Yes. I get catfish.
Okay, and catfish is good too. Fish. And I plan in such a way to get me a couple things that I might need because I know the next 15 minutes or half an hour, the next one's going to come. So I plan it. And
you know what they do?
Yeah.
They'll rush you. They'll be like, are you waiting for that train?
Yeah.
Like, they'll ask you that sometimes. Like, you trying to catch the bus? I'll be like, don't pack my bags too heavy. I'm on the bus. Put her.
Yes.
And she'll be like, oh, well, her. And they move fast because they know you done got off that train.
Yes.
And that Dave's Shaker Square stop, which they're redoing. So I hope they kind of keep it the same because I love the way it is, but they want to revitalize it.
Okay.
Doesn't matter if you take blue or green. So whatever train is downtown, you just grab it. And then if I gotta wait or I gotta transfer, well, at least I can go to Dave's and get something to eat.
Get something to eat.
Come on back. Keep on riding.
Yeah, go to Dewey's, go to CVS.
Yeah, I mean, I love that. And I actually read a thing I'll share the book with you. I read some books on how the system was created, and it's just a really great story about this. The Van Swearingen started the transit.
I did not know that.
The ones that founded Shaker.
What is it? What are the names?
The Van Swearingen family.
I should know this.
You don't know your Shaker history?
I should know our Shaker history. Okay.
So they started it, and it's a whole story about how they did and why the 55th Street is so important.
Wow.
But I'll tell you that offline. Okay. So anyway, thank you for being on my show, and we will have you back definitely another time.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Black Girl in CLE, the podcast. Please check us out online at www.blackgirlincle.com and like and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Black Girl INCLE. Talk to you next time.